From Riverdale Studios, Sioux Falls, this is a comic book look.
Welcome to a comic book look, your weekly comic book show. We talk about anything in the comic book industry. You want it, you got it. My name's John, @John on Demand, aka the Digital Don Juan. Over on the far left over here, we got Tom, aka the Steven Seagal of comics, Karate Chop, Scissor Kick. All you whack comic reading people that read whack comics through the wall.
Whack comicers.
Whack comicers. We don't like those kind. And in the middle, we have Skylar, aka the Hugh Hefner of videos, making us so sexy and sleek. Ow!
Yeah, when are you going to start doing that for me?
Whoa.
I'm trying. I do everything I can. There's only so many tools in the toolbox, Tom.
Yes, indeed, man. I understand. All right, 55 issues.
55 issues.
All right. This is, we're on a good stride. I feel like we're in the middle of a really good run. Issue 55.
Good arc.
Yeah.
Good arc.
This is a good arc.
Yeah.
And so what are we talking about today, John?
We're talking about you guys, actually. And, we don't like to gossip on the playground too much, But we've gotten so many cool comments, emails, just interactions with people, and that's what we're all about here. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And so we're going to be talking about all that today, in a nutshell.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, totally. I'm excited for it. We get viewer emails every once in a while. We get comments on the boards. We get comments on YouTube. We're constantly talking to creators on Twitter, and John's talking to awesome creators in After Hours. Don't forget to check that out. And, we're having constant interaction. So let's just kind of highlight some of the cool ones, and let's start off with viewer email.
Absolutely, yeah, we can definitely do that.
All right, so the email this we got this a little while ago, but it's time to address. This is from Adam G. He wrote us, called in, said that called in. I'm just going to say called in, even though he wrote an email. It's more personable, just like these aren't comics, but we still call them issues. So Adam G called in, and he was telling us, he's telling us everything, but, and when he was talking to us, he said that, he loves our shows, caught up and going through the back issues, and he started off with Marvel because, of course, those are the characters he knows. He just started reading comics, not too long ago. And but now that after watching a show, he switched to a bunch of indies. He listed a bunch of books that are awesome that he's reading, like Planetoid, Fatale, Saga, and he said that he was looking for questions, but he could never think of one because every time he thought of one, he would watch an episode and we'd address it because 55 episodes, we've addressed a lot of shit.
We've done almost all of it.
But there's always more. And so this one was a question that came up. He said, okay, you guys seem to like Jason Aaron, both of us. We do like Jason Aaron. He's a writer for Marvel. He's an architect. He said, what is something great that he has wrote? I bought Hulk 1 through 7, Mark Silvestri's art, one of the founders of Image, and they did Incredible Hulk with Jason Aaron. He said it sucked. It was terrible. He thought it was some of the worst comics he ever read, so he thought it was odd that Jason Aaron was the writer when we talked so highly about him.
Yeah.
So did you ever read any of those?
Of the Hulk ones?
Yeah.
If I did, it would have been a while back. The only Hulk that, to be honest with you, that I've read lately, and I've been reading so much lately, like I'm on overload to be frank with you, is that, the Alpha Flight crossover just recently, the Mayan thing,
Exactly.
Of course.
Sorry, guys.
So he didn't read it. I didn't read it from Jason Aaron, but I also heard it was terrible. Even though I love Jason Aaron, I don't buy $4 books usually unless they're an indie, and I know these books started off as $4. Plus, I absolutely hate Mark Silvestri's art. So Adam G, I should have told you that beforehand. I mean, a lot of people love him. This ultra detail, a lot of like lines in the forehead and stuff. But that's just, it's not for me. And I should have warned you. So I'm sorry, Adam G, for not telling you beforehand. But Jason Aaron, you need to understand, he's writing tons of comics. I think last year he wrote like 50-some comics.
Yeah.
So, you know, once a week he's busting out a script for a comic. And, you know, you're going to have some stinkers. And even though how highly we talk about him, because I think he can write at a genius level, every writer can't write every comic book.
You only have so much good material, no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
So.
And writing at that pace and having to be doing all these Marvel things and then still trying to do creator stuff, you know, it's different. So I don't know. I know one book that we've talked about in the past that John always reminds me that was amazing by Jason Aaron, so I'll kind of let you talk about it. It was the Wolverine carrying the thing up for after Night.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, Wolverine.
So kind of talk about
issue
that one.
1000, I believe. They gave it just this off-the-wall number so it would stand out. Great story. Wolverine, Nightcrawler had just recently passed away in the Second Coming story arc that rocked Marvel's socks. And I think that's probably the last time I got to say that about Marvel. The Second Coming, to be frank with you. Great story, though. It really just depicts their friendship. Always been a playful combo. Elf was the slang term that Logan referred to Nightcrawler as. Nightcrawler kind of designed, would you call it like a scenario? Because he planned it.
Yeah, he totally
Haul
designed
a
the scenario.
piano up to the top of a mountain to a monastery where your powers pretty much aren't really going to do you a whole lot of good.
Yep.
And how interesting, how clever. These are things. Nightcrawler's a very interesting character. He's very clever, very smart, and extremely thoughtful. And that's, oh God, I mean, damn, now I want to go reread that.
I'll agree. I mean, all that happens, but what is really good is this is a single issue and a single story that shows a really deep
So
thought
cool.
between emotions and
Yeah.
relationships between these two characters, and really shows what Jason Aaron can do in a one and done story.
Yeah.
He also has this really old Wolverine story from a long time ago. One of his first ones where it's a Wolverine in a pit and there's just people shooting him every single day. I can't remember which one it was, but it's also a one and done story where at the end he gets out and takes care of business, but just like the interaction he has with the people that are shooting him and when he's stuck in this pit, and it's a damn good just single issue comic. But if you're going to talk about a run that is fully great, we cannot go without talking about Scalped.
Yep,
Exactly.
that's what I was thinking right there.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to come along.
So Scalped is an amazing tale of that takes place on an Indian reservation in South Dakota, kind of based on the Rosebud Indian Reservation. It's called Prairie Rose, and there's a lot of these scenarios where it's alcohol. There's no alcohol there, so they have to buy all their alcohol in the Nebraska town, and it's the interaction between there on the Prairie Rose Reservation, the tribal leaders, and then the FBI trying to shut down things that's going on. And it becomes this amazing tale of, no good people. Everything is gritty, but everything is so good and well placed out, and you really have a feel for everybody. And there's times where you hate every single character, but you still end up rooting for them for different reasons. And the way that he paces out the whole story is so great. And issue 60 comes out this week, I think.
Yeah.
So the final issue is coming out. So I'm sure they'll do hardcovers or something sometime, but it is just worth picking up all the issues or going back and starting on the trades.
Yeah.
Definitely Jason Aaron's best work.
What's your take on, because there's that popular viewpoint of, why does it have to end? But don't all stories at some point to lack, so that way we don't have to have that bad stage, let's just call it a day, and enjoy the quality work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the mindset of it?
Totally.
Kind of thing? Okay.
This is a Vertigo tale that is finite. When he started this story, he had a story to tell, and it's led it up to this giant climax, and it's going to be over after that. That is the glory of Vertigo and
So they
indie
recognize
tales.
their boundaries.
Yeah, they know what they want to tell, and so they know that, hey, these are comic books. You can just keep going, just like superheroes. There's always Spider-Man. Well, they're showing that that's just a small portion of what comic books are. This is a real literary tale of these really true gritty characters that are, you know, lovable and hateable at the same time, and I mean, just so well done that, I mean, it has to end. And as bittersweet as that is, as a fan who reads the single issues, it's going to be terrible once it ends. I'm going to have that feeling like after you're done watching, like, you know, a TV show and you
5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah, you burn through the season and they're done. You're like, oh. So there's no
but
more.
most of the time when you watch a TV show that long, though, the 5th or 6th season, you're just like kind of because you're just going through the motions because you're already invested for that.
Yeah. And so
it
that's
just kind of drags, and that's why I'm on board too. It has to come to an end at some point.
exactly, and that's why it needs to come to an end before it gets to that point.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know.
That's a good call, then.
Yeah, and so that's really cool. But that's a lot. It's a Vertigo model. A lot of them have done that.
Yeah.
You know, starting with the Preacher. I think Preacher kind of, you know, showed that
Similar
Finite
approach.
60 issue. You know, amazing tale. Next though, I just also want to, before I, you know, just say that's it with Jason Aaron, I don't mean to rant on for a long time about Jason Aaron, but I am a big fan of him, and if you are going to read Amazing Tales by him, you need to, besides the Scalped, which is the best, you need to read The Other Side, you need, which is another Vertigo war tale, with Cameron Stewart on artist, and then you also need to read Astonishing Wolverine and Spider-Man. It is like a 6-issue miniseries that is freaking so awesome. So definitely check that out. And then his whole Punisher Max run. It's Steve Dillon did every issue. I think it goes 24, 28 issues, and it is also a story that has completed. There's no more coming out, and it is awesome. It's just so goddamn good. And also Ghost Rider he did. Those are all amazing things that he's done. So you may notice that I haven't been talking about maybe his A vs. X stuff, his Weapon X stuff, a lot of his Wolverine, a lot of these things that Marvel has to place him on.
Yeah.
You know, they're just not as good as what he can do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But when he shines, he shines. You know?
Exactly, dude.
That's
He shines
what we
hardcore.
appreciate,
And he always has just, at least in his comics, there's always like one really smart thing or really funny thing or out there thing that only works in comics, and I love that about it too. Which brings us to our next question, John. Do you want to cover this? You started off, the question is, he has Hulk 1 through 7, they suck. What does he do with these crappy comics now?
You know, the main thing here is that, you know, what do you do with comics, period? I mean, are you rereading them at all? Are you going to keep them around for reference? I mean, what's your value in a comic book? That's what you got to ask yourself. I've been kind of looking at that too. I've been socializing a lot on Skype, talking with people that do shows, you know, similar to ours. Obviously, of course, we're on our own level, if you will. I'm just playing, you guys, but we love everybody out there. But you know, no, seriously, because I mean, some of these guys do contests. They get comic halls. They go to garage sales. They get, you know, like there's people that are just so hardcore, and like I'm like, when I meet Phil next month, I'm just gonna grill him about it because I'm so inexperienced, Tom. You know that.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm the new kid on the block, boy band in one. But
You can have a block with 6 long boxes.
exactly.
That knows more about comics than most people have ever imagined. Anyway.
But no, in all seriousness, it really, you know, it just depends on your approach to comics. I mean, if you're doing a show or you want to just do a video and do a contest and get people to answer a question or a theme or something, do video responses, you can see who you're talking to, absolutely. That stuff works and it flies because I've seen people, there's this community of people that do shows or just talk about comic reviews every week, and they do these things all the time. So it's hot. It's out there. I mean, if that's a way, if you want to get rid of that Hulk run, get interactive with people, you know? Shake some hands online.
So you're saying get it interactive with these people and then, you know, trade comics with them or something?
Yeah. Or just, you know, have that be the prize for the winner, and bada bing, you know, people start to recognize you and so forth. And if you're not looking to do a show, that's fine. Do a one-time contest, you know? It just depends on what your plans are. I mean, if you're looking to resell them...
That's good. So you're just saying, hey, if you had extra comics out there, why not give them out to somebody who would really appreciate them?
Yeah.
Put out a YouTube video or put out something on Twitter and say, hey, I'm giving out comics.
Yeah.
This is what you got to do.
Exactly.
That is a dope idea.
Exactly. You know, and maybe we'll start doing that. Who knows, right? Because I know my white
John's
boxes...
comics.
Yeah. a lot of John's comics. I'll totally do a Tom on that one. My recent
Tom
stuff's
has
been
to
pretty
keep his
sick
collection in order.
though. Yeah. Tom has some real gems, as we saw.
Yeah, obviously. I was gonna say.
a few episodes ago.
I think you guys all know what I do with my comics. With my comics that suck, I keep them. I keep every comic. I love comics.
That's what I was gonna ask you, because you keep it because you're like, oh well, let's try this again, right? Like
No.
down the road, like do you reread?
Because
You
like some
reread.
things I'm not gonna try again, or some things I'm never gonna reread. I mean, I'm not gonna waste my time.
Yeah.
But I like having them. Like maybe show them to other people,
Yeah.
give them to other
And you're
other
good,
people.
you're good about borrowing.
Years down the
So,
road, I do like to read like collections in order.
Yeah.
So if it ends up being a really good run, I like it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, we live in South Dakota. Okay, real estate is not exactly what it is in New York City or San Francisco. I did not, my house is not outlandish at all, but I have plenty of fucking room if I need to add some more comic books.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the position that I need to like, oh, I'm running out of room to put my comic books. It's just like, I don't have that problem at all. I mean,
I'm guilty of Tom's statement.
I have a storage room that I could fill up like 1,000 long boxes in. I'm just saying, I mean, I'm looking what people get when you sell your issues. Unless they're a great run, you're getting jack shit for it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anything that good, especially if you're talking about selling Hulk 1 through 7, which you paid 7 times 4 to get this shitty comic, and then you're going to sell it maybe for $7 or $10 on eBay, and that sucks.
If you are really pissed off about how bad the book is, though, take the comic and put a self-addressed stamped envelope into a large envelope, send it to the creator with a request for your money back.
Ooh.
Or use it to start a fire.
Wow, dude,
That would
I've
be
never
awesome.
thought of that.
Or send it back to the creator and say, "This is
Wow.
terrible. Please trade in for a decent comic book from a different
Yeah.
author, even maybe."
Do you? Okay, so dumb question, and you guys out there, if anyone's heard of this, blow us up immediately on email. I want to hear about this. Do companies respond at all to mail? Because I know they'll post the letters that are fun and whimsical.
Yeah.
In the books that actually do that, which not a lot of them do, which I wish more of them would. And they're starting to pick that up
I
again.
like letter columns.
But just in general, mail in general. Do they have people that actually interact with the fans at all?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, especially
test
for
this
There's
out.
really just a form letter somewhere.
and who's
that
really
they send out.
who's really sending regular mail instead of emails anyway these days? But
We should send
for
regular
Saga,
mail.
they don't take anything besides real mail.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you've been reading the letter columns at all in
Oh,
Saga.
speaking of which, Saga #1, loved it, read it, bought it.
Yeah, I saw you.
Holding issue
Well,
6.
yeah.
Because I love the cover. I thought that was sexy.
So are you
man.
going to buy
I
the
have
rest
to
of them?
check out the rest of them, but I'm going to get them online probably for a bit cheaper because they don't have them at Rainbow
Obviously
anyways.
they don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, or you could always
It was
borrow
a great...
mine.
I might take you up on that just because...
Issue 1's right here.
Well, I got issue 1.
Okay.
I just need 2 through 5.
Yeah, they're
But
done.
issue 6, I love that cover with the leaves. Love it.
For some reason, I thought you were already reading Saga.
No, dude.
that Blind
You're always
Diviners?
harping on me.
Because it's just like
Yeah.
us when we were doing Comic Talk.
Mhm.
Everybody loves Saga. That's the Comic Talk
They
book.
were
You know,
harping on me like, you haven't read it? No.
It's just like,
check it out. So now I have, so I just got to read the rest of it and I'll be right on.
Yeah,
right
that's
on time.
fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, what are you gonna do with your comics? You sell them, you're gonna get shit. Unless you're really playing the market and you're going to get that variant and selling it online right away. That's the only way you're gonna really make money off.
Yeah.
Selling books online. Getting rid of your old comics, I'd say the very best way the only way I get comics out of this house is when one of Mabel's friends come here, a nephew comes here, a cousin comes here,
John
a friend
Cross.
comes here, and nobody's leaving my house without comics. It's simple as that. I have thousands of comics. There's no reason for me not to be giving these comics away, and so that's what I do. I give small runs or give little books, or if somebody likes a character, I'll give them some of those books, and that's what I do. I love that, and I also love, just running through my comics and checking them out and see what I got, and looking through the pictures. Oh, here's an old J.H. Williams book. Yeah, I'm gonna reload through this one.
Yeah.
And so that is what I do with my comics. Hey man, but I hear this question and is asked all the time.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's a very common question. Like, what should I do with my comics afterwards? It's just like, I don't know, dude. You paid $4, $3 for that comic, man.
Exactly. It's yours. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Keep that bitch.
Yeah.
You could always scan it and then torrent it online. No, I'm just kidding.
This does kind of lead into, though, another thing that we get, crappy comics. Another really common question is recommendations for good comics, and I think Tom has a really great recommendation in the segment here.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
And be ready to laugh. Why, hello there. My name is Tom Devine. I'm with a Comic Book Look. You may have heard of me. Well, I'm coming here with a great segment for you guys, for you folks today, and it's going to be called Truly Funny Comics. A lot of times these are called funny books, and I like to talk about real funny books. And so one of the funniest comics of all time is Barry Ween Boy Genius. This is the giant omnibus version of it, the whole book that you can get like every issue for 1995. So definitely worth it. But what this is about this kid and his friend and their crazy misadventures. He is an extreme genius. He was coming up with plans in the womb. He's changing people into dinosaurs, changing them back, jumping realities, making crazy guns, always, around his parents, back. You just picture, like, this would be the biggest hit for, like, an Adult Swim show or something. The premise is just awesome. But what is great about this is Judd Winnick doesn't just write this, but also draws this. Judd Winnick gets a lot of heat sometimes for the superhero work he does. He's writing Batwing. He wrote Batwing for a while. He's done tons of DC work. I talk very highly about him on Generation Lost, but he does sometimes really, really good work, and it's always good when he can be really smart-assy. And this book is perfect for that. It has plenty of comic book references and sci-fi references, but literally, it's the kind of book that I brought this to work. There was a kid that isn't going to be reading basically anything, and I couldn't get him into comics. I couldn't get him anything, even though I kept on harping him, and we were reading comics around him. He's like, "You guys are stupid." I was like, "Just read the first 10 pages of this. If you don't like it, I'll never bother you again." He did, and he ended up reading the whole entire thing because it is so funny. You'll literally find yourself just laughing out loud and actually closing the pages because you're embarrassed at some of the things you just read because they're so dirty and funny. And so you have to check it out. Barry Ween, Boy Genius, omnibus size, the big book of Barry Ween, Judd Winnick at his best. And a lot of times the writer starts as an artist, and it's fun to see that his writing chops and really cartoony style, but still to see his drawing chops after he's writing for a long time. So it's really fun. And hey, you may have seen him in the Real World. You remember Judd Winnick? He was on the Real World. Check it out. Thank you once again, Adam G, for writing in. It was a great email. We talked a long time about it.
Keep them coming.
But first, we did shoot out a few tweets before we, shot tonight, asking some different questions. If you guys had any questions, or what characters to hate, what characters to like, and let's hear. What do we got? Or just give us at least one here, John, to talk about or bring up.
Oh, yeah, working on it here.
Remember, this is what I said. Hey, should I have my computer up here? Because
hold up, I got it.
John's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready almost," or
yo, all right. Yo,
here.
okay. So AJ Jackson, you guys.
Of course, our main man.
Back for more. Let's see. In a death match, who would win out of any former to their current incarnation selves? So I'm kind of thinking that's like character.
Oh yeah,
right?
he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's saying who would win in a death match? Somebody, their old self against their new self?
Yeah. So obviously, right off the bat, Cyclops. Because Cyclops had balls when he first started, and then he turned into Sally Sue, Phoenix 5, bird visor wearing chum.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say different. I would say all the modern versions of like the Fantastic Four and the Hulk would wipe the floor with their old versions. Because their old versions, like, you know, like had the most basic ideas ever. Now we're to the level that Hulk doesn't die. He just gets more angry and kills more things. I mean, he'll never die, you know. So, like, back then, he was, like, great. You know, he wasn't
And
great.
they all talked like robots. I would now utilize my
Wow.
utility belt.
And, I mean, just,
no.
like, I mean, it would take Reed Richards, like, a half a second to make a pocket dimension and put the old Fantastic Four in, and, like, then the game over. So I would definitely say in that, good question, and the new ones would mop the floor because they have so much continuity and backstories of the times they've used the powers and,
Yeah.
you know, all the experiences that they've had.
Yeah.
So,
He did have a follow-up as well here. What's your theory on Chew and who really started the bird flu?
my opinion on Chew is I fucking love it.
Oh man, it is such a great book.
Yeah. Chew is just an amazing book by Rob Guillory and John Layman about chicken becomes the illegal drug of choice, and because of the bird flu, wipes out a whole bunch of people, yada yada yada. Some Russians, some Nazis, some backplaying ways in the crime department, and you get yourself one hell of a comic book that you've never read before. It's a must-read, I would say, for comic book readers. You have to read Chew. I read it in trade. I don't pick up the regular issues because the trades are cheap, fun, and I like getting it a little bit more because they only do 10 issues a year. And but I love it. I think it's awesome. For bird flu, let's switch right over to West Nile because in the last year there was 45 cases of West Nile. In the last 2 months, 1,100 cases of West Nile.
Oh.
Just heard it on NPR tonight, folks. Just heard it on NPR. So, bird flu, who knows? But West Nile's coming back with a vengeance. Get those mosquitoes out, guys. Remember DEET.
Yeah.
DEET.
Lemon balm. Swiss word.
Lemon balm.
I don't know.
Okay.
Catnip too. If it's wet, the oils. I don't know.
We know. Okay.
Whoa.
Great. Thank you, AJ Jackson. That's what I say. Thank you.
Spiritual.
You got another one for us? at all?
Yeah, I do here. Now this one is from @Cuervo_Reguro, Eric with a K. A CK. So we had this discussion about Eric's. Well, he happens to have both, so he's kind of the
That's pretty
Eric
that's
of all
a-
trades.
Both.
Right.
Best of both worlds.
Ballin'. I put out a tweet that said, who's like the one character that you just, can't stand at all? Here, let me get the exact wording. You simply can't stand, and why? And so he responds, I think it would be Green Lantern. The reason is simple. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. They do not have any connection at all. So this is a loaded answer, for starters, because Green Lantern has been nothing but a disappointment in my eyes, from the big screen to the books. Ever since, because Blackest Night was cool, but ever since then it's just been kind of flat tire for me. You know what I mean?
That's fine. I think Green Lantern's still bomb. I like him as a character. I think he's cool. And
can
I
watch
think
that movie again.
I think the movie sucked, yeah, and I think
We fell
recently
asleep
it's
on it.
hasn't been that good, but I mean the Sinestro Corps War, there's a lot of other good stuff that Jeff Johns did.
What does that have
I-
to do with Green Lantern?
And,
The bad guys are
it was
cool.
during
Red Lanterns are
during the
cool,
Green Lantern books when the Green Lantern kicked the shit out of the Sinestro Corps.
But
And
They all wear green.
first of all, what's with bringing up Spider-Man? It has nothing to do with. I mean, we're talking two different companies.
He obviously
He
just
likes
cares about
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, and unless they're intertwined,
Then he doesn't care. So he just chooses Green Lantern. Why not Wonder Woman? Why not Plastic Man?
I
can
think
tell you-
that's
I
Green
can tell you at
Lantern
least one reason
deserves
why I
it.
wouldn't pick Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I can think of 2 reasons.
Wait, why?
Honk honk.
Think
Oh,
about it.
okay. That doesn't-
No, of course you can't. Think
my software doesn't register this commentary.
All right.
Think Superman.
Okay.
Oh, so politically correct. It's terrible.
You're ridiculous.
Howard Stern of comic books right here.
All right. So those are some fun tweets. Let's get back to the comic book look viewer connection extravaganza. I want to just go through. I just went through some different comments that I wanted to highlight that I thought were funny, that at least made me chuckle, and I wanted you guys to know that it made me chuckle or bring up some talking points. Just last week we did shotgun reviews, and Skylar added this ridiculously awesome
Which
shotgun
I
effect.
died laughing.
Every
That was
time,
so
every
funny.
time not every time.
No,
but just
that's what kept everyone on their toes.
every once in a while he
That's-
put in the shotgun
yeah,
effect.
That was
and,
smart. I like that.
Comic Book Dude said that it scared him. And I love that because we got to meet Comic Book Dude, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's just hilarious because I get a picture of him being
Just
like,
jumping in his
scared.
chair.
Be like, whoa! You
No.
know?
He probably his attention probably wavered just a little bit, and that's why I put it in there. Get back here.
Oh yeah, so that was funny. Locus Mortis loves to correct everything we do wrong because
Yeah.
we say a lot of wrong things. I mean, we're obviously drinking. We're not. I wouldn't say we're 100% experts, but we just got to know our craft enough.
Exactly.
And recently I said Devin Grayson was writing a Batman story or something, and I referred to Devin as a him, and it's a her. Okay, well, I'm sorry,
Whoops,
Locus
that's-
Mortis, but the name is Devin, and I know
Imagine
some
if that was
dudes
a
that are
song.
named Devin.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I seriously didn't know. I've read comics for a long time. I have seen Devin Grayson's name a million times, and I never knew that was a female.
This
So,
is
thank you.
breaking news right here, you guys.
Exactly.
How long has she been in the industry?
Well over a decade.
Breaking news.
Breaking
Well
news.
over a decade.
It is a she. And hats off to you from Comic
Oh,
Book.
okay. Another comment
Tom's
that
just sexist when you can't write.
Is that how you feel, Tom?
yeah, I don't mind.
Women can't. What?
That is not how I feel at all. I just purchased the Gail Simone Kickstarter, so you guys can go kiss my ass, okay? And I suggest you guys do too. Okay, we're gonna do a whole show on Kickstarter sometime, so we won't talk too much about it now. But, another great comment was W.D. Prescott has 7,000 plus comics. He said, "Are you kidding me, W.D.? Let's talk about this. Let's get
I
the."
told him you need to get him on the show.
I was gonna say we need to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Trade or something.
We need to arrange all his comics to be in the background while he's talking,
Yeah.
so everybody can kind of check him out, see how he manages
How he
7,000 comics. We got a reader earlier, Adam G. Take some words from W.D. Prescott. He's not getting rid of a lot of books. Okay, he's got 7,000. And also, speaking of a lot of piles of books, though, Hackslash, a great viewer on IMJ, commented that during our segments we sit in front of this beautiful shelf full of comic books,
Isn't that
which is
beautiful?
such a sick shelf. And there's
What's the story with that, man?
Okay.
What's the story with that?
So I go to the comic book shop on my birthday. I take my birthday off June 12th, and it's new comic book day. And I get there, and there's this giant shelf there, and they have a big sign on it that says free. And I go, Brian, John, is this seriously for free? They're like, yeah. I go, holy shit, it's my birthday. I'm taking this. And they're like, you want it? I was like, yeah. They're like, happy birthday. Thank you for saying that's a sweet shelf. I'm proud of it. Ed, who is a great viewer and watched us forever, commented that our 50th episode did not have polybags, chrome covers, or wiki padding. And for that, I think we just want to apologize.
I'm so sorry, dude. My bad.
Sorry.
We were,
Sorry.
yeah.
The 50th episode deserved a really nice polybag.
Yeah.
I think it deserved a chrome holographic cover.
I agree.
And at least 10 pages of wiki padding to catch up with the first 49 issues.
Also some trading cards.
Trading cards would have been really nice.
Yeah.
But you know what?
My post.
We started the party a little too early.
Yeah.
There's a real issue on that one.
And
It was 50.
What was that trash?
We should have waited to get it out, but
Oh, okay.
what are you going to do? I'm sorry.
we skipped those
100.
features.
That's all I got to say, 100.
100 is gonna be awesome.
Another thing, Ed said that, he had a comment that I wanted to maybe address, see what your guys' opinion on is comics usually involve violence. What do you guys think about giving violent comics to kids? What is your opinion?
Honestly, since I have like 48 kids,
You have, I'm sure nephews or nieces or cousins or...
yeah, well, not really for comics, but in all seriousness, though, we've had this discussion a few times, and some people get up in arms so quick about it. It really just depends on your style of parenting, your kids' capacity to handle the content, and that's entirely your call as a parent to make it. There are kid alternatives to get them involved in comic community, like that Spider-Man book. Granted, maybe we don't enjoy them, but I mean that's the audience that they're targeting for. I mean, your daughter gets what, Strawberry Shortcake sometimes, maybe
Oh, yeah.
a little Spider-Man, maybe a little Batman,
Mhm.
you know, whatever.
Avengers.
They make those alternatives, and that's just so cool. Like, that's just one thing, and I'll go into more of that later, but I just appreciate that, you know, that they're acknowledging their audience, because we don't get that sometimes,
Yeah, totally.
especially from the big two. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, my mentality is usually with that is just give the kids the comics.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, if it's not something that says Max or Knights or Adult or you know something that like that,
Yeah.
give the kids the comics. It's paper, it's ink, they're reading,
Yeah.
they're using their imagination, and if your kid is gonna read a comic and where Hulk smashes the world in half and then you know like smashes your lamp, you know you maybe need to sit down with your kid and maybe talk about what you do and what you don't and what's a story and what's not a story,
Exactly.
what's real, what's not real, and I don't know. So I in my opinion, you know, educate your kid and share comics with them. It's a great way to get them to read, to understand what serialized things are, and also gets them excited about other things like science and space and
Yeah.
a bunch of other things. So I don't know. I definitely say, you know, even though there is violence in comics, usually it's okay. And you know, no, I'm not saying go give your kid like some Lady Death comics or something like
Right.
that. But you know, just you know, use common sense and put the comics in kids' hands.
Well, we're talking about kids as an audience, so we're going to jump right into a segment about comic-related media. Comic-related media, guys. This is Skylar with the Comic Book Look coming at you with one of my favorite creators of all time of music, comics, TV show, MC Bat Commander, also known, Tom, help me out. Christian Jacobs. I was just a fan of the band, so I've never learned his real name. This was a band started in, I think, the late 80s. It was a ska punk band. Travis Barker was on drums, and they called themselves the Aquabats. They had a huge backstory. They were a crime-fighting team. They fought with the power of their rock and roll. It was just a great time, and you know, many spin-offs were made. There's a comic book somewhere, I think, of the Aquabats. I think there might have been an issue or two, and there was a couple of TV shows, and there was a new TV show released a couple weeks ago on The Hub. And the reason MC Bat Commander Christian Jacobs was able to put this together was because he was the creator of a little show we call Yo Gabba Gabba. If you have kids, you probably know this show. Christian Jacobs got together with one of his friends and put together this show that was to become Yo Gabba Gabba. And because he had kids, there were no good shows on TV in the 90s. So, in the late 90s anyway, early 90s was great. So they put this show together and it floated around on the internet for about 7 years until the director of Napoleon Dynamite showed this show to Nickelodeon and just told them, you have to put this on. And it's just been a great success ever since then. And if you've watched the show to any extent, you might have seen the Aquabats perform. And, you know, it's just always been a fun, happy, kid-friendly sort of band. And it's something that a lot of the songs in the Aquabats, and some of Yo Gabba Gabba too even, is something that the parents can watch with the kids and still enjoy it. So that's comic book related media, the Aquabats and Yo Gabba Gabba. Check it out, put your kids onto it, they'll love it.
But yeah, dude, kids and comics, man, you know, they go hand in hand. So get your kids into comics and, you know, check out the Aquabats. They're good for anybody. Just great ska, punk, happy music. But yeah, anyway, guys, viewer connection extravaganza, it has gone very well. We've been dominating it, so, you know, we want to keep on hearing from you. So please, hit us up at Twitter, send us viewer emails, send us things right here if you want to send us real mail at Riverdale Studios, 1412 South Riverdale Road, Sioux Falls, South Dakota 57105. You can, join our Facebook group, A Comic Book Look, keep in with a conversation. But of course, every Tuesday night, just as long as Skylar's computer and the program and YouTube and connections all work right, every single Tuesday night, our shows debut. So please check us out at Inveterate Media Junkies, the greatest pop culture website in the world. And anyway, it's just a great place to just check daily because they got funny pictures, funny videos, keeps you with the current, comic book scene, and also, I'm posting on there all the time with a lot of other great commenters that we talked about today. Comic Book Dude, Nick the Stick, Ed. They're all there that we talk about on our show at Inveterate Media Junkies. So definitely check it out, and hopefully we will hear from you guys.
Absolutely. You guys, anything else you guys got? Nothing?
I don't think so, John. Let's you know what
Bring
to
them
do.
home, bring them home, bring them home. Alright, you guys know the drill as always, John, Tom, Skylar, keeping it real, Midwest, 605, represent, drink our beer, we talk comics, 365, 24/7. Also, check out A Comic Book Look After Hours, interviewing creators left and right. Hopefully, be getting some Tom and Skylar cameos on there, and we'll have some sweet interviews coming up, but always excited to talk to a creator. So if you're someone out there that's designing or doing some writing or whatever, get at us. We'd love to visit with you. Same Gmail actually, comicbooklook@gmail.com. Mean Team Supreme, you guys know the drill. I am Jay in your face, and we still keep it comics.